Life is so fucking weird. There are so many different personalities and opinions that I'm around every single day. And these personalities and opinions shape the way that I live. Maybe even shape the way that you live. I have had the best year I have ever had this past year in my entire life. It's hard for me to put into words, but I know that this year I haven't put my hands on anybody. I haven't touched any drugs. I haven't drank any alcohol. I started skateboarding. I performed at a festival. I adopted 2 cats. I started shooting music videos. I got laid off, then rehired to the same fucking job. I saw some fucking aliens, and I learned that no matter what happens in my life, I cannot give up. See, this is the part that you might not understand. I gave up a good amount of time in my life. I gave up when I was younger. I left home when I was 16. I sold drugs. Then I started doing drugs. Then I did the drugs that I sold. I started robbing people. I robbed a burger place and was called the Hamburglar on the South Florida News. I was homeless for 8 years, all because I simply gave up. If I could tell my younger self anything, I wouldn't say a damn thing, because I have learned so much in this time that I've been clean and that I've been working on myself, that I wouldn't change any part of my past if I could, or even say anything to my past self if I could. There's so many valuable life lessons that I learned. I learned that if you listen closely, you might hear a fucking cat. Yeah, that's a cat. This is one of the reasons why I stay clean. It took me getting clean to look back at some of these things, and I'm gonna tell you some of them right now. I learned how to read a room. I learned how to get resources without help from any other person. I learned how to live outside comfortably and safely. I learned how to treat wounds and help people that were overdosing. I learned how to navigate through a busy city or even navigate through the woods. I learned how to change my identity through a moving crowd. I also learned how to make the best of every situation, no matter what happens in my life. I know a lot of this information seems a little bit pointless, but to me it's not about the information. It's about the experiences that came with the information and the life lessons that I went through. If I told you that I saw someone overdose in front of me, convulse, I heard a death rattle, and the only thing I knew how to do at the time was get down on my knees and pray on top of this person, and that they came back to a full recovery, alive, would you believe me? Because that really happened, and that person's name is Yuri Wesley. This was my first go around from being homeless. I really knew nothing of the streets. I knew how to hop around from couches, but I haven't learned how to hustle yet. And I didn't really know the get down of how to boost, how to break into stuff, or anything like that. I had heard of Overtown my whole life, but being from Hollywood, Florida, I never really made my way down that way until I met my buddy Yuri, who told me that the drugs were cheaper, the women were finer, and things could go a little bit easier if I wanted to be homeless down there. Being who I was at the time, I convinced him to go with me, even though he really didn't want to. We were both trying to stay clean together in a sober living, but we knew that we didn't want to stay clean at that time. So we made our way down there, hopped from the Tri-Rail to the Metro Rail and straight down to Overtown, and then ended up on 8th and 2nd in a little fucking empty lot and behind some bushes. Me and him, some crackhead lady sitting right there. We both get our drugs, shoot it up, and next thing I know, I look over and my buddy is on the floor dying. Now, I had seen people pass away in front of me before, but not from drugs, and I didn't really know what to expect. I was in such fear of losing my friend that I knew the only thing that might work is just to get down on my knees and pray. And that's what I did. I begged God, if you bring my friend back, I will do anything, and I will be the best friend I can be to this person. But just please don't let my friend die in front of me. Not even like 30 seconds later, he came back, and I wish I could say that was the end of our drug use, but it wasn't. That was just the beginning. Till this day, my friend Yuri is homeless. He's out of his mind, and I really feel like I wish I was able to help, but I know there's nothing I can do, and I can only love him from afar. We were in Miami, Florida at that point, and when I was homeless in California, I was walking around Orange County, and there's my friend again, Yuri Wesley. He barely even knew who I was. He remembered me, but he didn't even know who I was, and this was a friend that I had for years. It's just sad what drugs do to people. We got into a little bit of, like a little argument over drugs, and that was the last I seen of him. But Yuri, if you're watching this, or if you're still alive, I love you, bro, and I hope that you're doing alright. But these are the kind of experiences that I'm talking about. I can't make this shit up. I had learned so much from this, just this little fucking experience that I went through. Yeah, it might have calloused me to the streets, and it might have calloused me to people dying and overdosing, and I got used to that kind of shit happening around me, because that was a life that I chose, and that was the decisions that I was making at that time, were to go that kind of direction or go that direction. And this is what happens. This is what comes with that lifestyle. I can't change it, and I'm powerless over everything that happens around me or happens around this situation. But just from me getting down on my knees and praying on top of him and seeing him come back to life makes me believe that there is something bigger than myself out there, that God does exist, and God does hear my prayers when I'm begging and I'm begging and I'm begging, and he delivers. And it doesn't happen like that every time, but I don't believe that there was anything else in play other than God when I saw my friend overdose and then come back to life. These are the experiences I'm talking about. This is just a little glimpse of my life. This is just maybe a little 3-hour little thing that happened in my life. There's so much more that I have learned, but this just gives you an idea of the stuff that I went through and the stuff that I put myself and volunteered for. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, that's okay, but just know there's more to come, and I hope you understand exactly what I'm saying. But this experience is what shaped my life. I don't know what part of the mold this, what part of this added to the mold of who I am today, but I definitely know that it added to the person I am and the way that I act and the way that I treat people and the way that I think today, all because of this experience and the information I gathered from this experience. If this helped you, great. If it didn't, great. I feel like it's my duty to let you know that this happened. Maybe it's God who's pushing me to share this message with other people. This is the experience that helped shape my life, and I hope you understand. God bless you, and I hope you all have a blessed day.